with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I've had a few people ask me about the fucking SpaceX and the Anthropic and the ChatGPT IPOs. What do I think? So those three companies are private companies at the moment, and an IPO is an initial public offering. So they're going from private to public, and there is some serious marketing going on around those companies. $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. They're $1 trillion companies. Come in, buy one, buy some $1 trillion company. So basically what an IPO is a chance for the people who invested early, because private companies fundraise to become a company, because you can't borrow from banks anymore to start a company. Well, nothing big enough to start a company of any size. Banks got told to stop lending for business a long time ago. So now they just lend for housing and cars and credit cards and shit like that. I think you can borrow for some investing if you've got some very good credit, but they don't lend for business creation. They lend for assets, if you consider a house and a car an asset. So these companies have to go to the big money, the hedge funds, the fucking private equity, and show them their business plan. This is my outline. This is what I want to do. I'll sell you. It's like Shark Tank. It's pretty much like Shark Tank. That's what it is. And so you've got to be a registered investor. I think you have to have over $250,000 to become a registered investor or something like that. There's some rules to it, but most of these fucking private companies, it's not available to the public. It's Silicon Valley insiders, it's private equity, it's hedge funds, it's the big money. They get to fund the business. They own the businesses. And also your general billionaires and rich people and shit like that. Angel investors. So they buy in early on businesses they believe are going to grow, become big. Well, they're putting their money in it, so they want the business to grow, so they try and choose the businesses that have potential. So then what happens? The business grows, becomes bigger and bigger, and then eventually, if you want to keep growing, you need access to capital. And generally, the best way to get large amounts of capital is take your company public, from private to public, and sell shares in it, and then use the shares to fund whatever growth you're going to fucking make. But what the initial public offering is basically a way for the early investors to cash out. That's what it is. So everyone who invested early needs to get out of the business. It's grown, and now your fucking $2 million is $250 million, but you need someone to sell it to. And who better to sell it to than the general public? Who better to take money from than your ma and pa investors? The people who didn't have access to the fucking private company seed offering or whatever the fuck it is. The cunts who couldn't buy it at the start now have a chance to buy into this company. Now it's done a 250x. And it may do another 250x. Who knows? Even though Anthropic is valued 100 times earnings. And ChatGPT is basically a failed organization. and SpaceX is basically a government organization. All of them are government protected. That's the whole thing. But the initial public offering, it's going to be sky high. So it's just so the early investors can cash out some of their profits. And then what happens, most IPOs start super high. They get pumped up, a lot of marketing, a lot of fucking hype. Everyone fucking buys into it. Everyone's looking at Twitter. Everyone's looking at social media. I'm going to buy SpaceX, even though you don't even know how to fucking buy a sandwich down the shop. You all of a sudden think you can buy SpaceX and make $1 million. That's what billionaires want. They want poor people to get involved now. That's what they want. They want you to become rich. Rich people want you to become rich now. That's what they'll tell you. They'll be like, buy into SpaceX, you'll become rich. They don't tell you that they need to cash out their $250 million and they need the general public to fund their cash out. They forget to tell you that. So the initial offering is like super high, and then over the 6 months from the day of the public offering, it's just downhill. This might be a little bit different for like a week or two, but I can tell you, like after the public offering, the initial public offering that day, it's going to be downhill for quite some time. There will be a period of euphoria and excitement, and then people will be like, what is happening? They said it was going to the moon with SpaceX, figuratively and literally. And then when you sift through the rubble, you'll be like, oh, the early private investors just needed some exit money, some exit liquidity, it's called. That's how the game works. So if you are thinking of buying any of those stocks, which I wouldn't recommend, maybe SpaceX would be all right later, you wait 8 months, 9 months, 12 months. You don't jump in at the first public offering, euphoria, everyone's on board. Everyone's taking their $20 down to the market and trying to get some SpaceX. Are you crazy? You wait till it's crashed, which they almost inevitably do, and then you go down to the fucking fair with your 20 and say, could I please have one SpaceX, sir? That's what you do. You just wait. Have some patience. You don't buy when every idiot on the internet is about to buy. That's the last time you buy. You want to buy you want to buy when no one is even thinking about it. You want to buy Saudi Arabia when there's a war in the Middle East. That's what you want to do. No one fucking thinks anything's going to happen, and then boom. You don't buy SpaceX when your cab driver's telling you about SpaceX. So yeah, don't be the exit liquidity for fucking millionaires, all right? And billionaires. Just chill and come back to it in 6 to 12 months. You'll see. You'll see what happens. Anyway, fucking that'll do it for tonight, and I'll see you the fuck later.